This is a very bad ceiling. You can see that because the level is nice and level, but on this side here, I'm getting a gap. And if I push that level all the way to the end, I'm touching, but then on over here, I get a massive 20 mil gap, and that's a problem. In this video right here, I'm gonna show you how I level a ceiling that is not leveled. I'm gonna show you all the tools I use. I wanna break it down, give you the best tips and tricks like I always do. If you're new to the channel, make sure you stay around and watch. Don't subscribe unless you're satisfied with my work. If you're not happy about it, move on with your life. Be happy, man. Nobody's forcing you to subscribe. But if you're happy with the work, make sure you subscribe because this is where it's at. Let's get it started, man. Let's go right now. Come on. What do you do when you got a non-level ceiling? You gotta calm down. Before I get started, I need to know how big this room is and how many buttons I'm gonna need. And I'm gonna go ahead and measure everything and go and cut it. The spacing of each of my buttons is 450 millimeters centers. So that just means every button is a 450 millimeters apart. I usually start with one at the end, 50 millimeters, and then go 450, all the way to the end and add on another 50 millimeters. You can go 600, but I prefer 450. I feel like it's gonna last longer. I've actually measured the whole room. If you have a very closer look, I've got a line here at 450, and all I done there was I just chalk lined everything. So I've chalk lined the whole room to make sure that all my buttons are gonna be straight. If the trusses are going this way, that means the buttons are gonna go this way, which means the plaster is gonna go this way. What that means, you always go opposite to the other situation. I hope that makes sense. I know exactly how many I need. I'm gonna measure it now, go down and cut all of them. I'm gonna bring them back here and put them up. You know what it is. All right, we're gonna measure the buttons, and the first thing we do, we go end to end. 26, 40, take off 20 millimeters so I can secure the fit. I know it's a little bit dark, but keep that in mind. So I work in construction, so I have all the tools I need to get my job done. But you don't have to do all that fancy stuff. You don't need a grinder. You can use tin snips to cut this. I know I gotta cut like 10 of them. It doesn't make sense for me to measure each button, cutting it, measuring, cutting it. So I got a little tip that I'll give you right now. So I know my measurement is 26, 20, so right about there. I'm gonna mark that down on the ground. Very good. Now all I gotta do, go all the way to the end, touch my timber up there, sit it there, and just go cut. You can do 2 at a time if you feel good about yourself. So just put it on the timber, line it up, cut it. Timber, line it up, cut it. I think that's a great tip. Make sure you follow and subscribe for that tip along. That's it, that's all my pieces cut. I know that some of you guys are probably wondering like, what the hell did he just cut? Because you don't do this every day like I do. So this is a button. I can't pronounce it right, man. English is my 20th language, okay? You gotta keep that in mind. By the way, the company that makes these is called Rondo. So it's a Rondo 16 millimeter. They make the best framing materials in the world. I'm not even gonna shy away from that. This is a Rondo 314 clip. Now, these are very good clips because of this part right here. This part is important, especially if you're working by yourself, right? You don't have to use a specific brand that I'm using right now. This video is not sponsored by Rondo. You're gonna get your clip, sit in there, and just twist that clip, and it's gonna sit on that button, and that's gonna hold it up and it won't come down. Doesn't matter how much weight you put on it. If you wanna take it out again, you just twist it and it will come out. You can use timbers or whatever you gotta do, but this is the fastest way to do this right now. I'm gonna jump up on my stilts and wanna smash out this ceiling very fast. Stilts, you don't need stilts, use a ladder. Like I said, I got all the tools I need for what I gotta do, and I like to do things the easy way. Check this out. Just like a drill, right? Simple drill that you can find anywhere these days, right? Different prices. It could be a freaking screwdriver. There's certain tools that you need in your toolbox at all times, especially if you want to survive in today's economy. You gotta fix your own stuff. Lasers is the next step to the human revolution. The human revolution wouldn't be where we are today without lasers. You can spend as little as 50 bucks, maybe, or you can spend like 20 grand on a laser. For basic needs, a laser is gonna be so handy. It's gonna make the whole process a lot faster. You could have a laser in your toolbox just to frame up your family portrait in your house. Make sure that they're nice and straight. You could put a couch in the lounge room, and if you wanna make sure that's straight and it lines up very nicely, use a laser. Bro, trust me, you need to have this in your toolbox for your everyday use. Shout out DeWalt, they make pretty cheap lasers. This video is not sponsored by DeWalt, but I do have this laser. I use this to keep it very simple. Here we go. So we're gonna start right now. And the first thing that we're gonna do is set up this laser that I've been talking about for the past 2 minutes. You need a screw and a drill. This comes off, it's got magnets on it. And once you put it on, you can go up and down. I'm gonna get a screw. There's a hole where you always put a screw in every laser that you're ever gonna buy. I just wanna sit that there roughly at a random height. I'm gonna get my actual laser, let it magnetize on that. I'm gonna sit that on there. I'm gonna turn it on. There's buttons where you can turn your lasers on. All the lasers are different. Just find your own button, and there we are. I want a line that goes this way because I need it to go this way, okay? On me, I've got drill, right? And I've got some screws. You can use nails and a hammer. And I'll give you an example of that too, so you know it's not that serious. It's not that serious. So at this point right here, you should have your laser all the way up at a random height. You should have your lines marked out where you're gonna see your button. You should have your buttons pre-cut and the exact amount that you're gonna need for this particular ceiling. And stay tuned, Magic, because this next part of the video is the part that you need to know. Anytime you buy a laser, it's gonna come with a plate similar to this. You do not need this, but this one is very good because it's magnetic. But it's important because it's gonna speed up your process. This step right here is very important. So what I need to do right now is I need to go over the corners of some of my ceilings. Right there I'm touching the timber and we got 90 millimeters, example, right? I'm gonna come somewhere random. Like here, I got 90, so that's pretty good. Over here, I've got 100, which is not good, but it's okay. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna find the lowest part of the ceiling, where the ceiling hits the lowest number on the tape. Now, I'm very confident that the lowest number is 87 millimeters, roughly right there. 80, the smallest number we're gonna work with. And the reason why that's important is because that's where we wanna start. Make sure I'm on my line. I'm gonna get my clip it on like I showed you before. And what I wanna do from here, because this is the lowest part of the ceiling, and I'm gonna start here, I'm gonna put my finger in there, and if I'm happy and I'm on my line, I'm gonna get my hammer, I'm gonna hit that little bit that I showed you before. Pretty much lock that in right where it's at. And I've screwed the top there because that means it won't move up and down, it's locked in. And then I'm gonna come this side here, and I'm gonna tack it on, but I won't lock this one in. And I'll show you why in a second. Right in the middle of that clip so I can move it up and down. Very good. Now I'm gonna see my plate on that. You know, you can tell it's not leveled, nothing. I'm gonna adjust that laser so it hits that bullseye, the 5 and 2, because that's where I want all my things to be at. I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna adjust it, go up until it hits the 5 or 2. See, I'm moving the laser up and down. That to me there is perfect. Once I'm happy with my laser, I'm gonna come back this way. And I wanna make sure that this clip goes lower to my laser line, which is why I didn't really lock it in, I was just tacking it on. Come back this way, make sure I'm on my laser line. I know you can't see that very well, but I'll give you a better example when I get to it. And lock it in. All you gotta do from there is match your laser with that line, right? So put my plate on the button. There's a lot of movement, of course. Now I've set my laser to the bullseye. And that means if that's not on the line there, that means this is not level. So what I gotta do there is put my clip on, like I showed you before, tack it on, right? When I'm happy there, I'm gonna go up to my line, which was 55. I'm gonna go in the middle so I can still adjust it if I need to adjust it. You saw my 5 and 2 right on the bullseye right there. I'm gonna finish it off by locking it in. That's right in the middle. So this is on my line there, right on the center. This means this button is level. And just to be sure, I'm gonna come back this way. I always skip one, but you can do every single one if you want to. I just don't need to because the spacing from here to there is less than 1200 millimeters. I'm gonna see my clip on there, tuck it on again, make sure I'm on my line. Because I've done this clip and this clip, this is already almost on my line there. So all I gotta do is just pretty much just lock it in. That there is good. I'm gonna come down here and finish that off. That there is done. I wanna show you something. So before, what we're working with was a very unlevel ceiling, but now our button is no longer messed up, but nice and level. You can get that right there, touching over this side, touching on this side, nice and level right there. For the next button, this is what I would do. Put a clip on again, same thing. Just tuck that on because I can't hold it, which is cool there. I'm gonna skip one, I skip that, come this side. I'm gonna get my plate. See the plate on there, come down to 5 and 2, get my screw, and I'm on my line. And because I screwed it in the middle, I can still adjust it up and down to make sure that I'm right on my line. I need a line to touch the 2 and the 5. If I'm happy, something, right? Do the same thing over here. Adjust it if you need to adjust it. Once it's touching both lines, 5 and 2, finish it up. This is level, that's level, that's level. Everything is pretty much the same, just repeating the same process over and over and over until you finish with your buttons. Once you're done, everything's gonna be nice and level. And I'll show you in a sec how that looks like once I'm done. I've done every single one except for this one right here. I just wanted to show you something because I did promise that I'll show you how to hammer and use a nail instead of an impact driver with the screw, just in case you don't have an impact driver. These are just normal nails, pretty standard, they're about 32 millimeters. The reason why I was using screws instead of nails is because this spacing right here. It's very hard for me to, because the whole thing moves, the laser keeps turning on and off. Also, it's hard wood. It's very hard for me to nail it without the nails bending. Whereas if it was normal wood like this green one here, and you had a spacing of 900, which is the normal spacing, then I'll use a hammer and a nail because it's actually a lot more faster. I'll show you an example real quick, what it looks like with a hammer. Similar thing, right? You're gonna put that on there, skip one, come here, chuck it on, put your plate on it like you did before. But here's the best part about hammers, using the hammer instead of a screw and an impact driver, right? I can tuck it on, and then instead of putting the hammer down and getting the impact driver out, I'll just get a nail and just finish tucking that on. Of course, you still go in the middle, right? Too much going. It's too much. I should be wearing a mask right now. But because I risk it all for you guys, check this out. Right, get it on your money right there. Same number, same measurement. You can hit your finger if you want to. It's up to you. I don't recommend it. Once it's on there, it's on the line, you want to get a nail and just finish it off. This is what a normal timber looks like. This is how easy it is to drive that nail in. It's just harder to do because the spacing, there's not enough spacing. Doesn't matter, it's not dead on the line there, but it's still all good. Now let's just say you didn't have a plate, so when you're using the tape, you can't do what I just did over there on that side. You actually gotta be on the same face as that laser. The measurement is 550, sheet timber. Lock it in, double check to see if it's still on 50. It is. Nail. So you can see that it's all the same process, a lot more faster. So I actually recommend doing it this way. I don't recommend tape, I recommend the plate. That one I gotta use a screw because there's too much movement. That's pretty much it right there. Use whatever you need to use. The most important thing out of this is the clips and the buttons that we're using to make that happen. Everything else, you can make it work with whatever tools you got at home. I'm gonna show you what it looks like once we finish. Nice and on the money. If I go this side like I showed you before, level, level, level. But if I spin it this way too, it should be nice and level. Could just slide that. And it's perfect. That's how you fix up an unlevel ceiling, step by step. All the tips and tricks, my G. Like I said, if you're satisfied with the tutorial, make sure you subscribe, my G. I appreciate the subscribe. It supports me to keep making better videos and moving forward with my life. Maybe I might make a video showing you how to hang this whole room. I don't know. Let's see what happens. If you wanted the video, I delivered. Make sure you like it. Peace out.